I got my car when I was 19. I drove around Kentucky for 3 days. Well, I took my little $300 and I was just going from parking lot to parking lot and hotel parking lots or whatever and just sleeping in my car. And it was just me and my Bible. I had to get away from what the church was saying. I had to get away from what my family was saying, what friends were saying. It was too many voices going on. And I needed to hear clearly from what God had for me. And when I came back after that, I consider myself a man because I was ready for whatever. If I was going to lose my life, I was comfortable with that. Whatever God had for me, I was comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? I made peace with every single thing. And God handled every situation in my life spiritually. That's another reason why I call myself spiritual peace, is because situations that I had, beef that I might have had with people or whatever, God handled everything.
On like those 3 days, or just after you came back from
just spiritually within me.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? By me understanding and being comfortable with his plan for my life and whatever that may be. At the time, I might not see the full picture. But coming back, just understanding that I'm covered. You know what I mean? And then over the years, I watched how he fixed things, mend things, bring things together. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I couldn't have did it on my own.
The More Movement Crew.
Welcome to the More Movement Crew podcast. I'm your host, Kanina Porter, and this is episode 4 of season 2. I'm so excited that you decided to tune in and check our show out today. We got an exciting guest that I am really excited to share and just excited to talk to and get to know. So thank you for tuning in. But before we get started, I want you to subscribe to our channel by pressing the subscribe button below, because we want more subscribers, right? We want to get to know you, and you want to be up on the latest videos that we have that we post. So thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. So today, we have a special guest today that I am really excited to just hear from, and I know you guys are going to be excited to hear from. You know, this season, we are having guests as well as, you know, more personal things and some vlogs and things like that. So we're kind of switching it up a little bit. So we're going to do some interviews. We're going to do some vlogs. But today we got a special guest that's going to share his story. But before we get into all that, we always play a game. And the game is called 5 Questions. So you ready for this 5-question game?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, cool. So the first question is, name 3 words that describe you.
3 words that describe me. Wow. Well, I wasn't ready for that. I listened to some questions on other people. You
right. I switched it.
Yeah,
season 2 got new questions.
Yeah, you switched it up on me. Describe me. I'm gonna say quiet. But if you ask my wife, she'll say I'm not. So I guess it depends. I try to be the same person everywhere I go, whether it be church, so I guess consistent. I guess caring. Yeah,
it's hard when you have to ask like 3 words. You're like, wait a minute, is it how people see me or is it how I see myself? It's kind of different. So yeah, that's why I have these kind of questions, because I want people to be like, let me think about that. So the next question is, if you could, and we talked about this before we started the show, food. So this would be a good question. If you could choose only one meal to eat for the rest of your life, what would that meal be?
This is easy. Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
All day.
What, just like a regular chicken sandwich, spicy chicken? Like what?
Chicken sandwich all day.
You eat it every day for the rest of your life. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can eat that every day.
Oh my goodness. So waffle fries? No waffle fries?
I mean, I'll take the waffle fries too. Yeah. Waffle fries, sweet tea, and the chocolate chip cookie.
The chocolate chip cookie? Yeah, for life. For life. So you eat that.
Thanksgiving and everything.
Right. We need a sponsorship. Chick-fil-A, we need a sponsorship on that one. Okay. Right. So the next question is, what is your favorite childhood song? Like growing up, what song was you like, this is my song?
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Favorite childhood song.
Like back in the day, high school,
Back in
middle
the 90s,
school, 90s.
it had to be Juvenile, huh? Back that thing up. I mean, taking over for the 99 of
Hot
the
Boys.
2000s, you know? I mean,
Oh
that's when
man.
I was coming up. So
Yeah.
it had to be Juve and Hot Boys, that era right there.
Right. I was like, yeah, he probably gonna say. I was like, well, I wonder what he gonna say. But yeah, definitely, I could see you bobbing to that.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. So next question is this kind of goes with the old school theme. What is your favorite old school childhood like look, like fashion look? Like what was you wearing in the 90s that you was like, this is my look?
It had to be the big T-shirts, you know what I'm saying? Big T-shirts, big jeans. Like nowadays, it's snug shirts, snug jeans.
Everything snug.
And it kind of bothered me
Mm-hmm.
after a while when you go in the store and all the jeans are skinny jeans. I'm like,
not everybody want to wear that.
You know,
yeah.
But they force it on you. But that was it. Big tees, big jeans.
Like what's the song? My White Tee.
Yeah.
All right. So the last question is, what do you want your legacy to be?
What do I want my legacy to be? Peace. I want my legacy to be that Sean Thompson was about peace everywhere he went. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's good. You already knew that one. You didn't have to reflect on that one.
Yeah, I knew that.
But the other ones, you was like, let me think about this. Yeah, we like to switch it up a little bit, but this kind of gives people an idea of kind of who you are before you share your story. So they see you as more like a whole person, right? Not as just that story. So that was the game 5 questions, and so now we're gonna get into the actual topic and start having some conversation. But before we get into the topic, I kind of want to just give you guys some context on how I know Sean. Sean and I met at the church that we both attend, New Birth. Shout out to New Birth. It's funny because the story I remember is, I think maybe it was the first Sunday I visited New Birth. I don't know, the second Sunday, it was one of the Sundays that I was brand new. And I came out to the parking lot and you would sell your mixtapes. And you was like,
passing them out for free. If it was the mixtape,
I think,
if I was selling something, it had to be the album.
The album,
Okay.
Yeah, it was the album. And he was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, cool. He's like, hey, you want to listen to my album? And I was like, sure, I'll take one. And that was the first time I actually remembered you. Is I bought a CD and listened to it. So that was my first experience with Sean. And ever since then, I have really watched you grow. You're really passionate about what you believe, passionate about doing work in this community. And so it shows. So that's my first introduction to you. But I want you to officially introduce yourself to the people.
Okay. Like story-wise, or just saying?
Just who you are, what you do.
Well, my name is Sean. I go by SP Spiritual Peace. I'm married. I've been married for like 13 years now. Hope I got that right. And I have 2 boys. My oldest just turned 14, and my youngest will be turning 11 in a few days. Born and raised Louisville, Kentucky. Grew up in the West End. My childhood was kind of rough. Lost my mom when I was 11. My pop spent most of my childhood in penitentiary. Got out when I was a junior in high school. The oldest of 6 little brothers, 5 little sisters.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, what else?
That was because that was like what we was gonna get into. So I'm glad that you kind of went into your story. I was gonna tell you, kind of describe kind of how you grew up a little bit. So you said you grew up in the West End, had a big family. You said father was incarcerated. Right. Can you kind of just talk about like how childhood was for you? Like how did you?
Well, when I say a lot of brothers and sisters, a lot of people think we all grew up together, but we didn't. You know, I remember when I was maybe like 4 or 5, and we was in a liquor store. I remember my mama having a breakdown or something. She was on the floor, and I remember the ambulance came, the paramedics and all that kind of stuff. And my great auntie took me and my mother's mother, my mother's mom. We never called her grandma. I don't know why, but she took my little brother.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I grew up, my elementary years with my great auntie. And then when I was like 11, I was like 10 and 11, my mom's finally got custody of me again. And I lived with my mom for 2 years. And then when she passed, then I went to move with my grandmother for a few years. Then she passed.
Oh, wow.
Then I lived with my grandfather an uncle, then I lived with aunties, then I lived with another uncle, then we moved back with my auntie, and my auntie Simone, she took in me, Stess, and Chris, and Sierra.
Mm.
So we pretty much grew up together.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? All my
Yeah.
other brothers and sisters have different mothers and stuff, so they grew up different places.
Yeah, so you kind of been just kind of hopped around a lot, like
all over the place.
so just not consistent, like consistency in terms of growing up. Was it just kind of
Right. It was rough because as a child, when you go into somebody else's house, you have to adjust to their house.
Yeah.
Every household is totally
That's hard
different,
at that age.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But it's just something that you have to do, and it does teach you. You shouldn't have to go through that, but it does teach you to adapt to your environment real quick, wherever you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So growing up and experiencing some of that, like what were some of the ways that you coped?
I don't know. I just feel like it was something inside of me. Like I know that this ain't it. I know things will get better. And by me being the oldest, I just felt like it was more on my shoulders. But I did, bump my head a lot, having to learn things on my own a lot because I didn't really have a big brother to look up to. You know what I'm saying? So they learned from my little brothers, learned from my mistakes.
Yeah. So, kind of talking about you saying you bumped your head a lot. Do you feel like, because I always believe that like your story kind of helps to shape like your purpose and where you're headed in life. And so do you feel like some of the things that you experienced at that age like really helped to shape like what you do now and your experiences now?
Right. I believe so. I believe I'm more passionate when it comes to other people and wondering what they're going through. Like even at the job or whatever, it's like if somebody's mad or if somebody has an attitude with you, most cases they're not really mad at you. It's something that they're going through, and you don't know what it is. And I mean, it's pretty much what I get out of it.
So at what point? Because your faith is the biggest, like most important to you. And so at what point in your life did you accept Christ?
I was 19 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. And I actually gave my life to Christ in my room. I was going through things in life and just trying to find myself, just trying to find out who God was calling me to be. You know what I'm saying? I got my car when I was 19. I drove around Kentucky for 3 days. Well, I took my little $300 and I was just going from parking lot to parking lot in hotel parking lots or whatever and just sleeping in my car. And it was just me and my Bible. I had to get away from what the church was saying. I had to get away from what my family was saying, what friends were saying. It was too many voices going on. And I needed to hear clearly from what God had for me. And when I came back after that, I consider myself a man because I was ready for whatever. If I was going to lose my life, I was comfortable with that. Whatever God had for me, I was comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? I made peace with every single thing. And God handled every situation in my life spiritually. That's another reason why I call myself spiritual peace is because situations that I had, beef that I might have had with people or whatever, God handled everything.
On like those 3 days or just after you came back from
just spiritually within me.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? By me understanding and being comfortable with his plan for my life and whatever that may be. At the time, I might not see the full picture. But coming back, just understanding that I'm covered. You know what I mean? And then over the years, I watched how he fixed things, mend things, bring things together. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I couldn't have did it on my own. That was all God.
So in those 3 days that you said you were driving around, is there something specific that God spoke to you at that time?
Pretty much was don't live life in fear. Don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about what you eat, what you, like the word says. Just literally give it to God. A lot of times we want to give this to God and you just work on that, God. I'm going to take care of this. I literally had to give my whole life to God. I had nobody else to really turn to get built back up.
Mm.
Sometimes in life we gotta get broken all the way down before we can get built back up. I mean, like I was doing stupid stuff. I got caught stealing. I was about to go to jail, but I got lucky in that situation too. And it's just like I felt like God kept sparing me for a reason.
That's good. That's really good. So a part of your story, you share a lot of your story in your music, right? And so when did you start the music part? When did you start rapping and writing and all that?
I used to, rap in the world or second rap, whatever people want to call it, when I was a teenager. And I gave up rapping for a while once I met God. And I came to New Birth and I started rapping for like 2 years. You know what I'm saying? I felt like this Christian thing is new to me. I don't need to be speaking on something I don't really know much about. So I sat there, I listened to the pastor preach. I helped out in the youth department. They kept trying to get me to rap. You can rap, you can do that. I'm like, nah, I'm cool.
Like you retired?
Yeah, so I just sat out for 2 years. And then I just got back into it. I saved my money up. I brought me a beat machine, started making beats again, and start writing.
So let's talk about, you mentioned before we start talking about music, you said that you couldn't go to the church when you were doing your 3 days. So let's talk about that, because I think a lot of times, and even the people that are watching, there are people that struggle with the church, right? They struggle with people in the church, just church hurt, right? Where you had a negative experience about that. What would you say to somebody struggling with that, with the whole church thing, right?
I think it depends on where they are with their spiritual walk. Me, I was a baby in Christ. So I was already doubting all kind of stuff anyways. You know what I'm saying? I done talked to some people where they say they was going to a church and the pastor did something, or they didn't like what the pastor said, or, something might have happened with another church member, so they choose not to go. But when I came to New Birth, I already had it made up in my mind that I'm coming to get something from God. It depends. The way you come into church determines what you're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
If you come in there like, I'm here to bless somebody else, I'm here to be a blessing, I'm here to get a word, you good. If you come in there to be like, you comparing this church with another church, you come in there, what's up with that sound? People, why they doing this over there? You already nitpicking the church. That's how you came in, so you're not going to leave with anything positive.
Yeah.
I think it just depends on where your head is, where you at with your walk with God.
I agree. I totally agree with that. And I think that also people have to realize, like, no church is perfect.
Right.
Like,
ain't no person, ain't nothing perfect.
Ain't nobody perfect. So you're going to there's always going to be something that's like, that you may not like at a church. But, and I think we forget, even as believers, that the church is full of imperfect people.
Right.
Like,
right.
Duh. Like, that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be
it's like
imperfect.
A hospital.
Exactly.
When you go into the hospital, it's sick people there that's trying to get help. That's the church.
Yeah.
It's sick people trying to get help.
Yeah.
And that person is pointing the finger, they sick too.
On
there. You know what I'm saying? Come on there. Just like
right.
I
think that's so true though, when you go in. And I think the church, the ministry that we go to helps with that. But when you're really focused on the word and what is being preached, and if they are preaching truth, then that's the kind of ministry that you should be under.
Right.
And at our church, we get that. We get teaching.
We
get like we like in a college class, like
get the unfiltered word.
We do. We really do. Like raw. Like he breaks it all the way down.
And I love how he gives you the word, and then it's up to you to apply it to your life.
It is.
It ain't like he's following you around trying to make sure you're doing the right thing. The word conviction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's also for all levels too.
Right.
Because he makes it to where even in his illustrations and teachings that somebody really young can understand it, and somebody older can understand it. So I think that's really dope too. That's one of the main reasons why I decided to go to New Birth, because I wanted somebody to teach. And so that's what he does too.
My auntie actually invited me to New Birth when I got caught stealing. And she called me up. She said, "Sean, I want you to come to church with me." And I was like, all right. I got to
what else? Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's why I came. I came because of my Aunt Doozy.
And you just kept on coming back, huh?
When I first came, I felt the love from people and
Yeah.
stuff, and I thought it was fake. I told them that before. I thought it was fake. So I came back again. They treated me the same way. I came back again. They treated me the same way. I'm like, wow,
It's
there's something
legit.
about this.
Right.
And I came during consecration when they first started doing consecration and stuff. And consecration, for y'all that don't know, is where we pray more than normal. We come to church on certain days, we fast certain days. But I was coming in doing consecration, man, it blessed my life. I never been around people praying like that. I never experienced that before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think I came around consecration too, before consecration started.
Okay.
Yep. So that was my first time like experiencing that too. And the way that he breaks it down is he helps us to understand the significance of consecration.
Right.
And kind of historically, like biblically, like why we do it.
Right.
So I think that's good because I don't think I've ever had that specific teaching before.
Yeah, it's powerful.
So also aside from you know, we got the music, we got some new things that have popped off with you in your ministry this year. You've taken on a role.
Yeah.
A new role. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, been the youth leader at my church. And it's funny because I mess with Pastor all the time. I say, you've been trying to get me for years. You've been trying to get me since I was 19. That's a long time. You feel me? But I feel like when we was talking like last year or the year before, I felt like it was just time.
Yeah.
Because my children are older, you know, and I feel like I can handle working with other people's children. You know what I'm saying? When I was young, 19, I was a child myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I still needed guidance. And now I'm just grateful for the opportunity. And it's funny because now I understand my true purpose when it comes to why he chose me. For a while I was struggling with that. I was like, you know, why me? I even told him, like, you know, but I'm a teacher. I'm a leader. And I just have to accept it. You know what I'm saying? I'm the oldest brother. I was captain on the football team. Every job I went to, I got moved up to almost being a supervisor. So it's like you're a leader by nature. But the way I lead is not like hardcore and demanding. It's more by example. You know what I'm saying? When you lead by example, people tend to either follow your lead or, you know, just want to do what you're doing. Every job I've ever been on, once they see that you're willing to work hard, they're willing to work hard too.
Yeah. Know? I think that I feel like he already knew that was something that he wanted you to do, but he was just waiting for you to be ready.
Yep, that's what he told me.
Yeah, so he just was waiting, and that's how he is, though. Yeah. He'll wait until you're ready, which is good. I think that's dope. But I really feel like that is a great role for you, and I feel like the youth can definitely learn from you being in that position. So we talked about music. We talked about your walk with Christ. So I guess for every guest, we always kind of end the show with the guest kind of talking about when they knew that it was more. So I always ask the question, like, when did you know that there was more? And you just share, like,
what you mean? When you
like,
say
there's like, what was that pivotal moment in your life when you were like, there is more that God has called me to do, aside from what I've been doing?
I think when I finally realized that it's not about me. It's about, life is about other people. Life is about helping others. Like, I feel like it's what we're born for. Whatever we go through, you made it through it, thank God, but it's for you to bless and help somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay. I always ask that question because I just feel like there's always one moment where it's kind of clicked for people. And so, like, for me, you know, when I was sick and I was faced with this reality that I have to start all over, and I didn't have any money, I was living with my parents, and I was like, this is not my reality. Like, I got to figure out how to fight this thing. Right. So that's when I knew that there was more. So I know that people have that moment where they know. Yeah.
I guess mine would be when I was 19.
Yeah.
That, you know, when I went off.
Yeah, when your 3-day journey.
I had to find myself.
That's like a story in the Bible where they go off for 3 days.
Yep.
It really is. Man. You got a couple Bible stories because you said you're always a leader, and I was like, that's kind of like Joseph, where Joseph would getting promoted, and you just be like,
It's
I don't know why they be.
right. Life is amazing, man. It really do goes through different phases and
Yeah.
different seasons, and I'm very grateful for the season that I'm in now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my marriage is smooth.
Mm-hmm.
My relationship with my kids is great. I have a decent job that I don't mind going to. Being the youth leader at church is fun,
Mm-hmm.
and I really have nothing to complain about.
Complain about.
And I have learned that going through hard jobs, going through struggles, and making mistakes in my marriage, or I've been a father, whatever, you learn from that stuff. So when God gets you in a place to where you like, man, you got to really appreciate that and cherish those moments.
Yeah. So I want to ask before we close, what is next? Like, what do you envision?
Oh man, do you really want to? Do we got time?
No, let's go. Let's go. Like, what do you
Wow.
envision?
I envision on March the 27th a whole new wave of youth church.
Wow.
Like seriously, it's going to be a game night. But we call it the AIM game. It's something that I created, and I actually rented it out last year at different parties and stuff like that. It's where it's a thing where you put the cans on there and you take the Nerf guns and you shoot the cans down and stuff like that. But now I have two of them. I had a red one and a blue one. So we're going to have a red team and a blue team. The youth is already excited about
I bet.
doing it. I'm gonna have music in between games that we play.
Uh-huh.
We're going to record it. It's going to be streaming live. It's going to be like a real game show. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be dope.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because what I see in my heart is that youth is going to come to the church and they're going to want to see what's going on. And they're going to see that we're able to have fun but still get the word and the truth at the same time. And then once you're able to get a hold of people's children, they go home excited. The parents is like, why are you so excited? This is what's going on. And hopefully they come on to church. And then it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
You know, black, white, all kind of people. That's what I see. In my future, I see people just coming together, you know, no matter your background.
That's good. That's good. So that's going to be exciting. I'm going to have to be there on March 27th to check it out. That's dope. Well, thank you so much for coming to the show and sharing your story.
No
I really appreciate it. So I'm going to leave his information and how you can contact him, reach out to him on Facebook. Where else can I reach out to you at?
Oh, yeah. Like she said,
Facebook.
on Facebook, it's Sean S.P. Thompson. You can check out my music on SoundCloud, SP Spiritual Peace, Pandora, SP Spiritual Peace.
Okay.
You know, all those different places, Spotify, iTunes. Just type in and see what happens.
See what comes up. I'll put the link below this video just in case y'all don't want to do that. Y'all want to Google. So you guys can connect with him and check out his music and support him. Thanks again for tuning in. I pray that his story blessed you and that you took something from this. And definitely check us out next week when we come out with another episode. But until then, be blessed.
Peace.